In the silent vastness of space, the sudden blare of a distress signal shattered the tranquility aboard the space station Endeavour. Liam O'Connor, an Australian ex-military doctor known for his unorthodox methods, jolted awake, heart pounding. The voice on the intercom was urgent. "All personnel, emergency council meeting in 5 minutes." Liam quickly dressed, his mind racing. The Intergalactic Council only convened under the most dire circumstances. He rushed through the dimly lit corridors, passing other equally anxious faces, until he reached the Grand Chamber, already bustling with representatives from various alien species. At the head of the table stood Zarkon, a stern-faced Martian who had long been a key figure in the council. "Thank you for assembling so swiftly," Zarkon began, his deep voice commanding attention. "We have received alarming news. The Vorgan, the most feared creature in our galaxy, is dying." Gasps and murmurs of disbelief rippled through the room. The Vorgan's very existence had kept numerous hostile species in check, maintaining a fragile peace. Its demise could plunge the galaxy into chaos. Zarkon continued, "Our best scientists and medics have been unable to identify the cause of its illness. We believe that only the unique ingenuity and resilience of humans can save it. Dr. O'Connor, we are entrusting you with this mission." Liam felt the weight of 100 eyes upon him. He took a deep breath, stepping forward. "I accept," he said firmly, "but I'll need a team. This task is too great for one person alone." Zarkon nodded. "Of course. We have assembled a group of specialists to assist you." He gestured towards the group assembled to the side. "This is Sylvia, our tech genius, known for her unparalleled hacking abilities. Dr. Rowan, a biologist with extensive knowledge of alien physiologies. And Tarek, a diplomat adept at handling intergalactic tensions." Liam greeted each of them, quickly assessing their strengths. Sylvia, with her bright eyes and quick fingers, exuded confidence. Dr. Rowan's calm demeanor and sharp intellect were immediately apparent. Tarek, with his composed and diplomatic aura, seemed the perfect balance to the team. "We don't have much time," Zarkon warned. "The Vorgan's condition is deteriorating rapidly. You must leave immediately." The team hurried to the docking bay, where the Endeavour's sleek shuttle awaited them. As they boarded, Liam couldn't shake the sense of impending danger. The Vorgan's planet was known to be a hostile environment, and the mission would undoubtedly test their limits. The journey to the Vorgan's planet was tense, each member of the team preparing in their own way. Sylvia fine-tuned her hacking equipment. Dr. Rowan reviewed medical scans of the Vorgan, and Tarek contacted various factions to ensure safe passage. Liam, meanwhile, reviewed the mission brief, trying to anticipate the challenges ahead. As they neared the planet, its harsh, storm-ridden surface came into view. "Brace yourselves," the pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. "We're entering the atmosphere." The shuttle shook violently as it descended, battling fierce winds and lightning strikes. Finally, they broke through the clouds, the Vorgan's lair, a massive fortress carved into a mountainside, looming ahead. The shuttle landed with a heavy thud. The team disembarked, greeted by a gust of acrid wind. "Welcome to hell," Sylvia muttered, adjusting her visor. The path to the Vorgan's lair was fraught with danger. They navigated jagged rocks and avoided predatory creatures, each step bringing them closer to their goal. The fortress itself was an imposing structure, its entrance guarded by ancient, towering gates. Inside, the atmosphere was eerily quiet. They followed a series of dimly lit corridors, the air growing colder with each step. Finally, they entered the central chamber and found the Vorgan. The sight took their breath away. Once a creature of immense power and terror, the Vorgan now lay weakened, its once vibrant scales dull and lifeless. Its eyes, which had held the fury of 1,000 storms, were dim and unfocused. Dr. Rowan immediately began her examination, her expression grim. "This isn't a natural illness," she said, her voice echoing in the cavernous room. "It's been poisoned." The gravity of the situation hit them all at once. The Vorgan's life wasn't just at risk from a disease, but from a deliberate act of sabotage. Their mission had just become infinitely more complex. "We need to find the source of this poison," Liam said, his voice steely with determination. "And fast." Sylvia's fingers flew over her portable terminal. "I've tapped into the fortress's system," she said. "There's a lab in the northern sector, heavily guarded. That's where we'll find our answers." As they moved to leave, a deep, resonant growl echoed through the chamber. The Vorgan's eyes briefly flickered with awareness, locking onto Liam's. In that moment, he felt a surge of responsibility and a renewed sense of purpose. "Let's go," Liam said, leading the team out. The stakes were higher than ever, but they had a mission to complete. The cold, sterile air of the Vorgan's lair stung Liam's lungs as he and his team navigated the dimly lit corridors. The walls were lined with ancient, undecipherable runes that seemed to whisper secrets long forgotten. Liam's eyes adjusted to the eerie glow of bioluminescent fungi that clung to the stone, casting unsettling shadows. "We need to be cautious," Liam whispered, his voice barely carrying over the oppressive silence. "This place is more than it seems." Sylvia, always quick on her feet, was already scanning for electronic signals. Her handheld device beeped softly, indicating the presence of hidden surveillance systems. "I've got a lock on the security grid," she said, her eyes narrowing in concentration. "Give me a minute to disable it." Dr. Rowan and Tarek stood guard, their senses heightened. Dr. Rowan, with her deep knowledge of alien physiologies, couldn't help but feel a mix of fascination and dread. "The Vorgan's biology is incredibly complex," she murmured, almost to herself. "We need to understand how this poison works at a molecular level." Tarek, ever the diplomat, kept his eyes on the passageways. "We're not alone here," he noted, his voice tense. "There are factions within the galaxy that would prefer the Vorgan remain weakened or dead." Sylvia's device chirped, indicating success. "Security systems are down. Let's move." The team advanced, their steps echoing in the cavernous space. They reached a heavy, reinforced door. Sylvia hacked the control panel with swift precision, and the door slid open with a groan, revealing the lab. Inside, the lab was a stark contrast to the ancient corridors. It was filled with state-of-the-art equipment and vials of various substances. The centerpiece was a massive, transparent chamber holding a swirling, dark liquid. "This must be the source of the poison," Dr. Rowan said, approaching the chamber. Her eyes scanned the data on the monitors, and her brow furrowed. "It's a bioengineered pathogen, designed to attack the Vorgan's unique cellular structure." Liam's jaw tightened. Whoever did this knew exactly how to target the Vorgan. "This is an assassination attempt." As they began collecting samples and data, a low rumble reverberated through the lair. The lights flickered, and the temperature dropped. "What was that?" Sylvia asked, her voice edged with concern. Tarek stepped back from the door, his hand on his weapon. "We need to hurry. We're not safe here." Suddenly, the room was plunged into darkness. Emergency lights flickered on, casting an ominous red glow. Sylvia's device beeped frantically. "Someone's overriding my hack. We have to get out of here now." Grabbing the samples, the team rushed out of the lab. The once silent corridors now echoed with the distant sounds of approaching footsteps and guttural growls. The air was thick with tension as they navigated their way back towards the Vorgan. "Stay close," Liam ordered, his mind racing. "We can't afford to get separated." As they neared the central chamber, a shadow moved swiftly across their path. Liam raised his weapon, ready to fire, but Tarek held up a hand. "Wait," he said, stepping forward cautiously. "Show yourself." From the shadows emerged a figure clad in dark, armored exoskeleton. Their eyes glowed a fierce red, and they moved with predatory grace. "You shouldn't be here," the figure hissed. "Leave now or face the consequences." Liam stepped forward, unflinching. "We know about the poison," he said. "We're here to save the Vorgan." The figure's eyes narrowed. "And why should I trust you? Humans are not welcome here." Dr. Rowan spoke up, her voice steady. "Because without our help, the Vorgan will die. We have the antidote. Let us pass." The figure hesitated, the glow in their eyes flickering. "Follow me," they said finally. "But know this, if you fail, there will be nowhere in this galaxy you can hide." The team followed the figure through a series of hidden passages, bypassing the main corridors. "Who are you?" Tarek asked quietly. "I am Calix," the figure replied. Guardian of the Vorgan. My duty is to protect it at all costs. They reached a concealed entrance that led directly to the central chamber. The sight of the Vorgan, even in its weakened state, was awe-inspiring. Its massive form lay motionless, scales dull and eyes closed. Dr. Rowan and Sylvia immediately set to work, preparing the antidote. Liam kept a watchful eye on Calix, sensing an uneasy alliance. "We don't have much time," Rowan said, injecting the antidote into the Vorgan's bloodstream. "This should work, but we need to monitor its response closely." A tense silence filled the chamber as they waited. The Vorgan's breathing, slow and labored, began to even out. Its scales shimmered faintly, a sign of recovery. Relief washed over the team, but the respite was short-lived. A sudden explosion rocked the lair, sending debris and dust into the air. "They're here," Calix snarled. "The ones who poisoned the Vorgan. They won't stop until it's dead." The explosion's reverberations had barely settled when Liam and his team sprang into action. Dust and debris filled the air, making it difficult to see and breathe. The Vorgan, still recuperating from the antidote, emitted a low growl of pain and confusion. "Calix, secure the entrance," Liam shouted, his voice barely audible over the chaos. "Tarek, stay with the Vorgan and monitor its vitals. Sylvia and Dr. Rowan with me." Calix nodded, her exoskeleton glinting in the dim light as she moved to fortify the entrance. Tarek immediately set up his equipment to keep track of the Vorgan's condition, his face tense with concentration. Sylvia and Dr. Rowan followed Liam through the labyrinthine corridors, their footsteps echoing ominously. "We need to find the source of that explosion," Liam said, his eyes scanning for any signs of the enemy. "They'll have more tricks up their sleeves." As they turned a corner, they encountered a group of hostile alien mercenaries. Their eyes glowed a menacing red, and their weapons hummed with lethal energy. "Intruders!" one of them bellowed, raising his weapon. Liam reacted instinctively. "Take cover," he yelled, diving behind a column. Sylvia and Dr. Rowan followed suit, narrowly avoiding a barrage of plasma bolts. Sylvia, ever resourceful, quickly hacked into a nearby control panel. "Give me a second," she muttered, her fingers dancing over the keys. "I can overload the system and create an EMP burst." "Hurry," Liam urged, peeking out to return fire. The mercenaries were closing in, their relentless assault threatening to overwhelm them. Dr. Rowan, crouched beside Sylvia, kept an eye on their flanks. "We can't let them reach the Vorgan," she said, her voice resolute. "If it dies, everything we fought for will be in vain." A sharp beep signaled the completion of Sylvia's hack. "EMP burst in 3, 2, 1, she announced. A blinding flash followed, and the mercenaries' weapons and armor short-circuited, sending them sprawling to the ground. "Move out," Liam commanded, leading the charge. They quickly neutralized the disoriented mercenaries and pressed forward, each step bringing them closer to the heart of the enemy's operation. As they navigated deeper into the fortress, the corridors became narrower and more treacherous. The temperature dropped, and an eerie silence enveloped them. "We're getting close," Sylvia whispered, her breath visible in the frigid air. "The control room should be just ahead." They reached a massive, reinforced door. Sylvia once again worked her magic, bypassing the security protocols. The door slid open with a hiss, revealing a cavernous chamber filled with advanced technology and alien artifacts. At the center of the room stood a tall, imposing figure clad in dark robes. His eyes glowed a malevolent green, and a sinister smile played on his lips. "Ah, the meddling humans," he sneered. "You're too late. The Vorgan's fate is sealed." Liam stepped forward, his stance defiant. "We're here to stop you, and we will." The figure laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the chamber. "You cannot comprehend the forces at play. The Vorgan's death is but a prelude to the chaos that will consume this galaxy." Without warning, he raised his hand, and a surge of dark energy shot towards Liam. Sylvia quickly deployed a shield, absorbing the impact. "Stay focused," she urged. "We can take him down if we work together." Dr. Rowan scanned the room, her eyes landing on a series of control panels. "If we can disrupt the power source, we can weaken him," she said. "Sylvia, can you hack into those systems?" I'm on it, Sylvia replied, her fingers moving swiftly over her device. Liam, buy me some time. Liam and Dr. Rowan engaged the robed figure, dodging his attacks and countering with precise strikes. The air crackled with energy as the battle intensified, each side pushing the other to their limits. Finally, Sylvia shouted, "Got it! Disrupting the power now." The chamber shuddered as the lights flickered and the hum of machinery began to die down. The robed figure staggered, his powers waning. Liam seized the opportunity, charging forward with a powerful strike. The figure fell to his knees, his eyes wide with shock. "This isn't over," he hissed. "Others will come." "Let them," Liam retorted. "We'll be ready." With the immediate threat neutralized, the team quickly gathered data from the control room. "We have what we need," Sylvia said, pocketing a data chip. "Let's get back to the Vorgan." They retraced their steps, the sense of urgency driving them forward. As they entered the central chamber, they found Tarek and Calix holding off another wave of attackers. The Vorgan, now showing signs of recovery, roared in defiance, its strength returning. "How is it?" Liam asked, joining the fray. "It's stabilizing," Tarek replied, a hint of relief in his voice. "But we need to get out of here." Liam nodded. "Sylvia, can you initiate a full lockdown? We need to buy ourselves time to escape." "Consider it done," Sylvia said, her hands flying over the control panel. As the fortress's systems began to shut down, the attackers retreated, realizing their efforts were futile. The team gathered around the Vorgan, ready to move it to a safer location. "We did it," Dr. Rowan said, a smile breaking through the exhaustion. "We actually did it." The Vorgan, its eyes now burning with renewed vigor, looked at Liam and his team. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. The Vorgan's lair was now a hive of activity. With the immediate threat neutralized, Liam and his team quickly moved the recuperating creature to a more secure chamber deep within the fortress. The air was thick with tension, every shadow a potential threat. "Liam, we need to regroup and assess our next move," Tarek urged, his diplomatic calm a stark contrast to the chaos around them. Liam nodded, his mind already racing through possibilities. "Sylvia, what's the status on the lockdown?" "Complete," Sylvia replied, not looking up from her terminal. "But it's only a temporary measure. They'll be back, and in greater numbers." Dr. Rowan checked the Vorgan's vitals, her face etched with concern. "The antidote is working, but it's a slow process. We need to keep it stable." Calix, ever the vigilant guardian, stood at the entrance, her eyes scanning for any signs of movement. "We need to prepare for another attack. They won't give up easily." As the team fortified their position, a sudden transmission crackled over their comms. "This is Commander Rax of the Galactic Coalition. We're en route to your location. Hold your position and prepare for extraction." Liam felt a surge of relief. Reinforcements would tip the scales in their favor. "All right, people, we hold the line until they get here. Calix, coordinate with our defenses. Sylvia, keep an eye on the systems. Tarek, stay with the Vorgan and make sure it remains stable. Dr. Rowan, I need you to set up a triage station. We may have injured coming in." Each member of the team moved with purpose, their roles clearly defined, and executed with precision. The minutes stretched into what felt like hours, every sound amplified in the oppressive silence of the fortress. Liam took a moment to check in with Tarek and the Vorgan. "How's it holding up?" Tarek glanced at the creature, which seemed more alert and aware. "It's stabilizing, but it's still weak. We need to buy it more time." Liam nodded, then turned to Dr. Rowan. "How's the triage setup?" "Ready," she replied, her eyes determined. "Let's hope we won't need it." Suddenly, the fortress shuddered as a barrage of explosions echoed through the halls. Sylvia's terminal lit up with warnings. "They're attacking the main gate," she reported. "We have minutes at best." "Calix, status on the defenses?" Liam called out. "Engaged, but we're outnumbered," Calix replied, her voice grim. "We need to hold them off until the coalition arrives." Liam clenched his jaw. "Everyone, prepare for combat. We hold this line." The enemy poured through the breached gate, their numbers overwhelming. The air was filled with the acrid smell of plasma fire and the sharp tang of ionized air. Liam and his team fought with relentless determination, each member displaying their unique skills in the heat of battle. Sylvia, from her makeshift command center, coordinated their efforts, her fingers a blur over her terminal. "Liam, watch your six," she called out as a mercenary attempted to flank him. Liam spun, his blaster finding its mark with deadly accuracy. Dr. Rowan moved through the chaos, tending to the injured with practiced efficiency. Her calm under pressure was a beacon of hope amidst the carnage. "Stay with me," she urged a wounded soldier, her hands steady as she applied a medkit. The battle raged on, each moment escalating in intensity. Just when it seemed they might be overwhelmed, a powerful roar echoed through the chamber. The Vorgan, though still weak, had risen to its full height.